Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Tin Man Score channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and the last Mr. Haunted video I'm reacting to is titled 4 True Halloween Horror Stories. This is Halloween special, and I wanted to get into the Halloween spirit early. Let's put it that way. So without further ado, I'm going to turn these lights off, move the camera back up here for you guys, and let's get this reaction on the road in the bag, shall we? Okay, everybody, here we go.
It was Halloween of 2014, and I had to chaperone my little brother who was 6 at the time.
Okay.
Before we were off, I told him to give me a few pieces of candy that he didn't want. Anyway, we went on. My brother went to every house on our block and got candy from pretty much all of them. It was his first time trick-or-treating, so I really wanted him to get as much candy as he wanted. 2 hours passed, and Halloween was starting to die down, as it was a school night. We hit a few more houses down, and I told him it was time to head back.
You know, that's a bummer about Halloween. If it lands on a school night, you can't stay up and watch horror movies and eat all the candy you want. I don't know if this happened to you guys or not, but I remember sometimes Halloween would land on a teacher work day, so we didn't have to go to school. I said, oh, that's awesome. But then sometimes we did not get so lucky and we had to end up going to school on that day. And it's funny to see the teachers in their costumes. Oh, those are some good Halloween memories. But anyway, let's continue on with this person's story and see what happens.
However, he wanted to knock on one more door, and I told him okay, but just one more. I was standing at the sidewalk as he excitedly went up to the door. The door opened, and I saw a man that looked to be in his 50s greet my little brother. However, I noticed that the man seemed a bit off, and I don't know why. I absolutely thought nothing of it and watched my brother as he got his candy. And then it happened. I saw the man grab my little brother by the arm and pull him inside the house. I quickly ran up to the door and proceeded to break down the door, and when I did, it was pitch black inside. I called out for my brother, but there was no response. Before I could call him again, I heard footsteps coming down the old wooden stairs very slowly. I quickly ran up and punched the guy in the nose, leaving him bleeding. I then heard my brother calling me from a room. I grabbed him, and we went back down the stairs and out of there. Him and I ran back to our house, and I told my mom. She immediately was bawling her eyes out, hugging my little brother. She called the police, and I led them to the house, but when they searched the house, the man was gone. The police told us that the house had been renovated for years. Long story short, they never found the guy, which still kills me to this day.
Oh, that is messed up. You're just having a good night trick-or-treating, and then all of a sudden a creep has to ruin it for everybody by grabbing his little brother and taking him upstairs. I hate to imagine what he would have done to him if that guy locked the front door right behind him. The older brother wouldn't be able to get in. Probably kidnap him or poison him. You just don't know. But I'm glad the older brother went in there and punched that guy in the face, because I would have done the same thing for taking a family member. And then, of course, when the cops go search the house, he ain't there. He skipped town probably just so he wouldn't get caught. But anyway, let's get to story number 2.
I was trick-or-treating with my friends around the ages of 14. Some may argue that 14 is too old to go trick-or-treating, but we all decided that would be our last year of trick-or-treating.
I don't think so. I probably stopped trick-or-treating when I was 16. So, yeah, you could still go trick-or-treating as a teenager until you feel like you don't want to do it no more. It's still a fun time, nevertheless. Spooky, too.
So, we all got our pillowcases and hit every house on the block. It was about 10:30 p.m., and this was the time when people stopped answering their doors. We all were bored and wanted to do something interesting since nobody was giving out any more candy, and plus, our pillowcases were all the way full. I had an Ouija board at my house, and we all agreed to try it. But one of my friends said there was a cemetery a few miles away and that we could bring the board there and maybe contact a spirit. We all thought that was a cool idea, and so we got the Ouija board and brought it to the cemetery.
I don't know if you should be messing with that. I don't think it's a good idea because you start playing with that Ouija board, then you might get the demon Zozo answering questions or some other demonic entity or somebody in the graveyard that was evil in life. You always got to be cautious when you're playing those spirit boards.
The tombstone said the guy who died only lived until 24. We began asking the board questions like, "Give us a sign you're here." And almost immediately, the planchette moved to the word yes. Now, we were only 14, so we were beyond scared. Then, my friend asked it if it was a good spirit. The planchette then moved to the word no. Now, I have no idea if this next part was a coincidence or that it was somehow linked to the Ouija board. After it moved to no, my friend then said, "That's probably why he died at an early age." The planchette spelled out the words, "You have a consequence coming now." I'd say not even a minute later, my friend's phone began to ring. He answered it, and his mom and dad were on the other end crying. He then asked what was wrong, and his parents said that them and his 7-year-old sister were walking down the street when his sister got hit by a car and died. He then lost it and ran home. I am still friends with him till this day, and I burned the Ouija board.
Yeah, burn it. I'll be mad and sad at the same time, too. That if it's spelled out, you have a consequence coming your way. So that spirit must have predicted that his sister was going to get hit or somehow caused it to happen. I don't know how that would work, but man, I feel so sorry for his friend. I know his younger sister was just having a good time trick-or-treating, and then that had to happen. This is why you don't joke around with a Ouija board, because something bad might happen like this guy just experienced. I know Halloween is not going to be the same for them anymore. May that little girl rest in peace.
This story is told from the perspective of a female. I was with my boyfriend on Halloween, and every year we would always dress up as scary Halloween decorations. Basically, what we would do is dress up and go by the front door and stay still so that the trick-or-treaters won't notice that we were there.
I've seen videos on YouTube with people doing that, and they just sit there with the bowl of candy waiting until somebody comes up, and then they just go, ah! Some of the kids just get scared and don't want to come back, but some of them are like, oh, that's good. You know, to be honest with you, if we had trick-or-treaters coming in our area, I wouldn't mind doing that myself, but I'm scared of giving somebody a heart attack. So I ain't doing it at all.
And that they would think we're decorations. Then, we would scare the crap out of them, which was pretty funny. We got good reactions most of the time. Anyway, one Halloween, we did the same routine. There was this one guy who looked to be in about 20, and we decided to scare him. He walked past us to the front door. We gave him a good scare, and he literally freaked out. My boyfriend and I laughed, but the guy was pissed. But we could tell that he was not very happy, so we apologized to him. But he didn't say it's okay or anything like that. No. He reached into his back pocket and pulled out a gun, shooting my boyfriend in the arm. My boyfriend screamed while on the floor, while I started crying and screaming.
I'd be like, dude, what in the world's your problem? They were just having a good old Halloween prank, and they apologized for scaring the crap out of him too much. He didn't have to go that far and pull a gun on him. I mean, that guy didn't have to get mad over a simple Halloween joke. That's just crazy.
My boyfriend screamed while on the floor, while I started crying and screaming. He then took off down the street, and I called 911. They arrived, and long story short, they never caught the guy.
Okay, I'm mad. That guy might have had a head start and went back to his house and got rid of the gun. But also, he might have either packed up and left to another state, or he's hiding really good. But I mean, if they give him a good description of what he looks like and everything, they'd be able to find him. It's people like that, I don't think they need to have guns. If they can't control their anger, then I'm sorry, they don't need guns at all, or knives. He shot that guy with a lot of hatred and rage. Might as well call him a psychopath. But thank God that boy did not die from his injuries. But also, I know they'll probably be more cautious on who they scare if they try to do that whole decoration prank again.
One Halloween, I was trick or treating by myself into a neighborhood that my mom and I had just moved into. It wasn't a bad neighborhood, but it definitely wasn't perfect. There was this one guy, we'll call him Mr. C, who lived at the end of the street. Mr. C was nice overall, but there was something slightly off about him. My mom let me go trick or treating by myself since I was 18. I started hitting houses left to right, and I eventually got to Mr. C's house, and he did have some cool decorations. Lights everywhere, blow up cats, cobwebs on bushes, and a lot of stuff you would expect to see on Halloween. I went to go get some candy when I noticed a bad odor. I didn't know what it was, and I just figured it was maybe a dead animal nearby. As I knocked on the door to say trick or treat, Mr. C opened the door and gave me the candy and slammed the door behind him. He didn't even say hi. It was like he was just in a rush for something.
Yeah, that'd be very strange. Why do I get the feeling that he probably murdered somebody, since they said they smell a foul odor? But hey, if it's Halloween night and you got trick-or-treaters coming to your door, you should try to act like you're being nice to somebody and not just hand the bar and shut the door in their face. I mean, that would cause suspicion right there.
I turned around and started to notice that the smell was coming from the tree. Hanging on the tree were these fake dead bodies of Halloween decorations. However, I noticed that one of the bodies looked a bit more realistic than the others. Then it hit me. I put two and two together and I figured out what was making that smell. One of the dead bodies were real, an actual rotting corpse of a woman. I put my hand to my mouth and ran home to tell my mom and to call the cops. The cops arrested Mr. C, and he confessed to killing his wife because apparently she ruined his life. I don't know the rest of that story, and I don't want to know. My mom and I moved out of state the next month.
Yeah, that guy probably thought that he would get away with it if he posed his dead wife hanging in a tree like a decoration, but nope. He didn't account for the body starting to rot and smell, while the other bodies that are fake wouldn't. The person said that did it because she ruined his life. I mean, what did she do, you know? But thankfully, they did not go into that, and I don't want to know either. But he probably had an argument with her about something and snapped. But that is really disgusting that he would hang her body in a tree with the other fake bodies. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this Halloween video reaction. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more Mr. Haunted reaction content like this. This has been another successful installment of the Tin Man's Quarter channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor. I say that's a wrap, and have a nice day, y'all.